Welcome back to my Doom. I'm in Advance Wars 2. Yep, we've put this off long enough. It's time for Sonia's first mission in Yellow Comet. You might notice here, it's got a difficulty level of 4 stars, as much as some of the missions in the second half of Blue Moon. Yeah, that is no exaggeration. This mission is extremely difficult for the point it is at in the game. In fact, some will go as far as to consider this one of the hardest missions in the game, period. Yeah. And I kind of agree with them. If it's not number 1, it's actually definitely not number 1. There are some later missions that are much harder than this, but I'd say it would definitely make the top 5 for me in terms of most difficult missions in the game. But anyway, it looks as though gathering intel is the important part, and this means that, yep, you knew it, the only commander of Yellow Comet who hasn't seen action yet, it's time for Sonia, and that may or may not be not so good for us. I'll talk about that once we actually get into the mission. But anyway, still, I find the whole Kanbei being so overprotective of Sonia hilarious. It's pretty awesome. And here we have Showstopper. I'll get into exactly why this map is so annoying in a moment, trust me. I have no idea why it's called that though. I guess it's going to stop your show with how hard it is. Anyway, yeah, we have to take out 8 mini-cannons. 8 mini-cannons. Or capture their extremely heavily guarded headquarters. Both of them are no mean feat, believe me. And yeah, Ada's talking about how you're guaranteed to fail this. Well, if you're a first-time player, you will most likely fail this. This is... And guess what? Yep, as if things couldn't get any worse, obviously they have to put the lab map here, because the game designers are just jerks. So anyway, I guess it's probably time to talk about Sonia. Sonia, as you might see, has average firepower on all of her units. Or so it seems. I'll get more into that later. Now, the thing with Sonia is, well, interesting. She gets a lot of hate from a lot of players, and I can kind of see where it comes from. A lot of people consider her one of the more underpowered characters in this game. Now, the thing you have to know about Sonia is, all of Sonia's main strengths revolve around Fog of War. And as you can see here, Ada has a pretty massive pre-deployed army, and you might even be able to hear some bombers in there. Yeah, this is going to be very annoying. But like I was saying, all of Sonia's main abilities revolve around Fog of War. As such, Sonia is pretty much completely useless in non-fog maps. Thankfully, the game designers at least had the decency to make sure that every map that you are forced to use her in the campaign is fog. By the way, you actually need to make some anti-airs early here, or even some missiles if you want, because missiles do have a very large vision range in fog. And believe me, I'm doing this for a reason. It's because, well, yeah, if you listen carefully to the noises that his units make while moving in the fog, you might notice that he already has a couple of bombers. Anyway, back to Sonia. All of Sonia's units have an increased vision range of 1 space in Fog of War, which is pretty useful, especially when you get your infantry on mountains, like I'm about to do now, or if you manage to get recons out there. Now, be careful when you're taking these bases, because chances are Ada's closer to you than you'd probably think, so just be a little careful here. She can't, of course, see into woods or reefs, or can she? She actually has some way of doing that, but we'll find out about that a little later. So, Sonia's units all have increased vision range in Fog of War. She also counterattacks with 1.5 times the attack power. So, I guess she's kind of useful if she's taking a beating, she can kind of dish out one back. But those are her really only main advantages. Then we get to her downsides. You see, earlier on, I may have mentioned that there are very little luck elements to Advance Wars, unlike Fire Emblem. Not entirely true. You see, there is one element of luck in this game, and, well, apart from Flak. And, well, it's not exactly a good thing. You see, Sonya, and the game doesn't actually tell you this, annoyingly. It did tell you in the first game, but not in this one. This one doesn't actually tell you. Sonya suffers from bad luck. As a result, occasionally her units will do 10% less damage than the game says. Naturally, this can be very annoying. Now, thankfully, Sonya's bad luck has been toned down quite considerably since the first game. In the first game, it was a really big downside, but in this one, it's only a minor setback. So it's not really that bad, but it is very, very annoying. She kind of does make up for it by having superior counter-attack firepower, but still. But the one thing about Sonya that's really, really, really annoying is that most of her advantages are completely meaningless against the AI. She's got increased vision range in fog. Well, guess what? The AI can see through fog, no problem. And actually, Sonya has one more special advantage that is completely pointless in campaign mode. And you can see Bomber there. Good thing I spotted that Bomber early, because otherwise it would have done a whole lot of damage. Unfortunately, Bombers are an expensive unit, and you know what happens when you damage one of Ada's more expensive units? Oh boy. Anyway, that's the reason I built that anti-air and missiles as soon as possible. Yeah, you want to get those out there fast, because otherwise those Bombers are gonna wreak havoc on you. So yeah, this mission can be extremely tough if you're not prepared for it. You pretty much need to have a good strategy and plan right from the start. Now, that one thing I was going to mention about Sonya. There's one other thing special about Sonya that, again, is completely worthless against the AI. Once it comes to my turn, stupid fog and tank ambushes, Once it comes around to my turn, I'm gonna show video footage of just this thing. And yikes, yeah, this mission is you're kind of on the back foot from the holy helicopter. Yeah, should have sent more units up to the northern front. At least I stopped the bomber, but those tanks are, oh yikes! At least I have some anti-airs and missiles there to take those out, but still. Oh, holy crap, this mission is nerve-wracking, especially early on. If you can repel the initial assaults, things really aren't that bad, but believe me, that's a big if. Anyway, on to my video footage. In order to see video evidence of Sonya's other main advantage, we need to play a map where we're fighting against her. Fortunately, there just happens to be a war room map for this very purpose. So, Andy, you'll be my test subject, I guess. So, anyway. Now, this here is Sonya's base. Don't mind the fact that Yellow Comet is blue in this. It doesn't make sense, but oh well. Now, pay careful attention to Sonya's units once she creates them. Watch carefully and see what happens. You might notice something a little different about them. I'll just scroll over there to check. Their HP. Look, they have a question mark marker where their HP would be. And on their main intel screen, it also says question mark for their HP. This is one of Sonya's special abilities. When playing against her, the HP values of all of her units are actually hidden from you. This can actually be really, really good in multiplayer missions, and it lets you do some interesting tactics, like bait the enemy with a unit, have them damage you a little, then pull it back and replace it with a full strength unit. They won't know that it is a full strength unit because they don't see your HP. It's actually pretty cool, I will admit, and gives Sonya a bit of an edge. Fortunately, it is completely and utterly useless against the AI. Because, of course, the AI can see through it no problem, or at least I think they can see through it. I'm pretty sure they can see right through it, so... the bad thing about playing as Sonya is that a lot of her advantages are totally worthless against the AI. So that is a very big problem. As you can see, I've got a couple of tanks coming. I'll need to swing around some anti-airs up to the top to take out that helicopter, because seriously. Once again, with any fog map, hiding in forests is very useful. You actually have a fairly significant property advantage right from the start of this map, and believe me, you're gonna need it. Really, you really, really are, because... as you can see, Ada has a very large pre-deployed force that is right on you from the start, and You especially want to take care of his bomber as fast as possible. Now, it's situations like this where Ada's CO powers are extremely irritating, because you're doing a lot of damage to his troops and he is so close to you, he's probably going to have one of his powers by now. So we've got an income of 11,000. Okay, let's see what he's got here. Oh wow, see, he already almost has his super. Not only that, but he's pretty much ready to capture some bases that are very close to your forces. And that's not good. Don't let him do that. For the time being, I have a feeling that he's gonna... of course. Now, yes, the AI can't see into reefs, but woods and reefs. But if they spot you, they will attack you, yeah. I'm pretty sure the AI actually can see you in woods, it's just they can't attack you until they have a unit right next to you. And as you can see here, things are looking really, really bad. Yeah, you'll be off on the back foot quite heavily from the start of this mission. Now, if you can repel the initial attack, things will start to get better. Once again, though, repelling the initial attack is fairly difficult unless you really have encyclopedic knowledge of this mission. This is probably the first mission in the campaign where you really... Did that helicopter run into my missile range? Yes, it did! Ha ha! You fool! Eat missile! Ha ha ha! Ha! Really, you need to take every opportunity you can get in this mission, believe me. You know what? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, past me. Attacking from the city is a much better option. Yeah, you'll need every advantage you can get against this force, and Ada's already going to have his superpower by now, isn't he? Which is extremely bad, because it means that is a surprisingly large amount of damage for anti-air versus tank. It means that he's going to rush a hell of a lot of units right into our territory. Oh, I'm a little paranoid that he's got indirect units hiding. The AI always does, don't they? But anyway, once again, we'll be trying to fight off the initial attack, mostly in this part, and yes, I've had to split this mission up into 2 parts. It was that bad. But yeah, Sonya's recons are actually very useful due to their increase in vision range, so you might want to produce a couple of those earlier on. Watch out for that artillery there. And yep, I'm not going to stop him from getting that base, but hopefully I will be able to take it back. Now, that base that's down the bottom, near the ports, speaking of which, that port is pretty much totally useless, but the only reason I captured it is for the extra income, and believe me, the extra income helps. Hey, Ada, you got your superpower, don't you? Yep, of course you do. Oh, Ada's power quotes are so creepy. And he's gonna rush everything he has at us, isn't he? So annoying. Anyway, yeah, that's gone. Oh, more mechs, brilliant. Oh, recon, brilliant. You're not really seeing Sonya's superior counterattack firepower as much here because mostly her units are getting attacked by... Okay, good. Her units are getting attacked by things that are much, much, much better than them. And, oh, that's not good. Okay, at least I endured that a little. Okay, but the missiles rollers... crap, that's bad, very bad. See, this is a case in point as to why Ada's powers are so annoying. His units will swing around from an unexpected quarter and attack you, like that. Yeah, extremely irritating to face. And of course they'd have you facing Ada on this mission. Bye-bye, infantry. You serve your purpose well. Yeah, this mission... Oh, I do not have fond memories of this mission. Oh, wow! Yep, Ada's recons will really hit you from an unexpected angle, but at least Sonya's superior counterattacks rendered that matchup even, and for some reason he's retreating his artillery. Oh, he's gone and hit it in the woods, hasn't he? Looks like we have our super, and you know what? There's no real reason not to use this. Here is Sonya's superpower. Counter Break! Has a pretty significantly more awesome name than her normal power, which is simply called Enhanced Vision. Yeah, that sounds impressive. Anyway, Ada's got a whole lot of units right up in our face, so let's take them out. While I talk about Sonya's CO powers, If you might notice, might notice something interesting. There are a couple of forests on the map that we can see into. Yes, Sonia's normal and superpower allows her to see into forests and reefs, which again is very useful in fog, completely useless without fog. Sonia's normal power, Enhanced Vision, does basically exactly what it says on the tin. Increases the vision range of all of her units by 1 space and lets them see into woods or reefs. In the right circumstances, it can be very helpful, especially to see those annoying indirect ambushes the AI just loves to place. Of course, once again, it is completely and utterly worthless in non-Fog of War maps. Yeah, okay, we could do a lot of things with this thing here, but completely worthless in non-Fog of War maps, so yeah, very annoying. Sonia's super, on the other hand, does have some benefit to it that doesn't involve fog. Basically, in addition to doing the exact same effects of the normal power, so +1 vision and you can see into woods and reefs, it also, its actual effect is very interesting. The game itself tells you that it, quote-unquote, makes counterattacks stronger. This isn't actually entirely true. What it does do is something very, very unique. And if you've played Fire Emblem, it'll be easier for me to explain this. What Sonia's super does, true to its name is, it does something unique to your counterattacks. But it doesn't actually make them stronger. In fact, it actually weakens them from Sonia's normal counterattacks. They're only at 100% firepower rather than 1.5 times damage. However, it makes up for it by doing something very, very interesting. Basically what happens is that you might be noticing that throughout this turn, Sonia's troops are going to be doing more damage than usual encounters. Unless they get killed first. What Sonia's super actually does is it makes her units strike first in counterattacks. Even though the animation doesn't show it, damage is calculated as if Sonia's units struck first. And again, with Advance Wars doing damage based off of HP, that's a huge help. So for example, these recons are actually going to counterattack as if they were at full strength. I mean, it's not like that's actually going to do that much, but still. Of course, if Sonia's units are killed before they have a chance to strike, then they will in fact not strike back at all. But if not, they will counterattack as if they were striking first. Think of it as, if you're a Fire Emblem fan, think of it as your entire army gaining vantage for one turn, except the animation doesn't show it. That's basically what Sonia's super does. In the right circumstances, like here where we're getting completely hammered, this actually really helps. So, and at least it gives Sonia something to her name that doesn't involve fog. I still think you really should not play Sonia outside of Fog of War. Definitely do not play Sonia outside of Fog of War. You will regret it, trust me. You will really regret it. Sonia is next to useless in non-fog maps, I'll say that much. But yeah, Sonia actually has a really good advantage to her in multiplayer simply because that fact that she hides the HP from her opponents. What this means is that your opponent has to basically keep memorizing how much damage they've done to all of her units, and because of that, what that means is it's an extra piece of information that your opponent has to keep track of. And the more information that your opponent has to memorize, the more likely something is to slip their mind, and the more likely they are to make a mistake, and that's something that Sonia can capitalize on. In multiplayer, Sonia is really all about psychological warfare, which fits her character quite well. But yeah, outside of multiplayer, Sonia is not that great, especially seeing that, yeah. I'll keep saying it because it's just so depressing. Most of Sonia's abilities are completely worthless against the AI, so that's a problem, and being forced to play as her in the campaign, that really doesn't do her any favors. Nor does being forced to play her on such a difficult map. And yes, this one mission is the very reason why I didn't launch into Yellow Comet immediately. The fact that you can do this just after you've done the tutorial is downright terrifying. Any new player who jumps into this mission without knowing what they're in for, oh boy, yep, they are going to get mauled very badly. Yeah, this mission is kind of, definitely a candidate for that one level when it comes to Advance Wars 2, if only because it's so uncharacteristically difficult for the point it is at in the game. This mission is actually probably, in my opinion... Really? I guess that was the bad luck kicking in there. Must have been. Anyway, this mission, I believe, is probably harder than... Well, actually, okay, I will admit that I find T-15 quite difficult. I still haven't quite figured out T-15, and would you look at that, Adder already almost has his normal power again. Again, I will admit that I find T-15 somewhat difficult, and I only S-ranked that one by a very small margin. My technique score's gonna suffer here, but I don't really care. I only S-ranked that one by a very small margin, but still, this mission, I will admit, is probably one of the harder ones in... It's probably harder than most of Blue Moon. Yep, I said it, definitely harder than most of Blue Moon. Okay, definitely going for that one there. When mechs get first strike, and now I just realized something. Sonya's first strike on counterattacks really benefits mechs, because they do not like getting hit very much, at all. Sonya's also quite decent with indirect units in Fog of War maps, if only because she can actually scout out where the enemies are, so she can hit them with her indirect units much better. It's, yeah, quite a useful ability to have, which you'll be seeing on the second Sonya mission in this campaign. And Sonya's second mission is, well, she kind of redeems herself quite a bit. Sonya's second mission is actually quite fun, and much more manageable than this one. Yeah, Sonya suffers a little bit from starting off on a bad note. She gets that annoying effect where you start on a bad note and everyone starts to hate you. But, believe me, she redeems herself in her next mission. And this one is, yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, we are starting to repel the initial attack, but we're not even halfway into this mission. Believe me. See? We haven't even started to worry about the mission objective yet. Oh boy, and not only that, but we've got to worry about the map as well. Yep, the lab map is in one of the cities on this map, and I can tell you right now, it's, well... It's in one that's quite far out, and yep. Not only that, but the city it's in, let me just tell you this, is actually directly in range of a mini cannon, so you'll need to take that out before you can start capturing, pretty much. Yeah, oh boy, I don't like this mission at all. It's always whoa, that was bad. Hopefully I can take you out. So yeah, this part was mostly spent repelling the initial attack. Now, our first port of call next time is to take the neutral base to the south and take back the base that Adder took to the north. Once we have those, then and only then are we ready to begin our advance on the cannons. And believe me, that's not going to be easy. It'll almost feel like this part and the next part are actually two separate missions. This one feels like a defense mission, even though it's actually not. The next part will finally be able to go on the offense and take the fight to the fortress. And yep, things aren't going to get any easier, because the AI is going to pull quite a few jerk moves. So, get ready for that, people. Oh boy, see, look. You damage Adder slightly and he goes halfway into his power meter right there. Yeah. But again, when you're off on the back foot like this, Sonya's superior counterattacks do help. But anyway, oh boy, oh wow. Okay, that's a little not good. Don't create, okay, good. At least he's only producing infantry out of that, despite the fact that he has a massive, massive property advantage. Very soon we're going to need to start making APCs, just so that we can not only rush our infantry forward and capture some of these outlying bases, but also so we can speed our way over to where the map is. Not only that, but units that are inside transports are safe from cannon fire, so that's another good reason why we need some transports. Artillery. And believe me, he's got a lot worse than artillery waiting for us near the I was about to say factory. This may as well be a factory mission, believe it or not, near the fortress. So, yep. Okay, if I can take you off the factory and send a unit to blockade it, I will be able to re-secure this quite soon. Once I do, again, things will be a lot easier, and I mean a lot easier. But until then, we're gonna have to just tough it out and take these things out and make sure he doesn't produce anything from that. Oh, always embarrassing whenever an infantry unit manages to take out one of your tanks like that. Anyway, okay, okay, you, Recon, block that base. Good. Right, that's enough out of that one, and yeah, Ada's not going to be creating any new units out of that base anytime soon, and very soon we'll be able to send out infantry to capture that base, which is very useful. And then we'll work on the neutral one below. Of course, it's best to prioritize enemy bases over neutral ones for the most part, because not only do you get yourself a new production facility, you're depriving your opponent of a production facility, which is, again, very, very useful. But I will have to grab that neutral base soon, because it's actually in quite a good location for an assault on the fortress. And speaking of the fortress, we're going to have to advance in the woods quite a bit. Yeah, Ada does have quite a big income lead, but that's not really bothering me that much. Okay, things are starting to look up. It's only taken us 10 days to finally start actually advancing. And now, finally, we can actually think about the freaking mission objective. Yeah, this is, again... I must admit that I first played this mission back when I first got this game. I was like 12 at the time, and the game had only recently came out, and... Oh, you know, you can't fool me. I know where that APC went. There's only one way it could have vanished out of nowhere like that, and I don't really care. Oh, he's done that old, I'm gonna build a lander for no... Oh, crap! Yep, that's bad. Very bad. Very, very, very bad. Oh, boy. Yep, I told you we had much worse than artillery, and that's what he's got. Yep, stupid rockets. And we've got to watch those cannons as well, lest we run into their range. Now again, remember that cannons cannot fire on units that are in forests, and that we're going to have to capitalize on a lot. Okay, running low on fuel artillery there. Just watch the cannons, always watch the cannons. Make sure you don't accidentally go in their range. And what was I saying before? Oh yes, back when I was a kid and I was first playing this, I will admit that I skipped this mission. Because, yeah, you're allowed to skip one mission out of every set of 3 in the campaign, and I admit this was one of the ones that I skipped. In fact, I don't think I'd actually ever completed this until only very recently when I recorded this one, actually. This is always one of the missions that I very rarely actually finished, and as a result, I'm actually really unfamiliar with the Yellow Comet lab mission, only because I very rarely actually get the lab map here. It's not so much a matter of finding the lab map as it is, actually, surviving the mission with the lab map. But anyway, we are progressing quite smoothly. Very soon, we'll approach the second part of this video where we will finally go on the offense. After Ada's turn, I believe I'll see you again next time. Oh, that's bad. Ugh, stupid useless lander. You actually did something. And I will see you again in the next part.